Hello everyone, today we have a Mirage lockdown build, and this one was built entirely by Dara. This was built entirely by Dara as far as I know. He tweeted it out. That was the first place that I kind of came across this build, and there are a couple of tweaks that you can make to this kind of style, so you could go with more of a magic game extension mind game style build, or you can lean all the way into the lockdown, which is what Dara did and what we're going to be doing today. In the Infinity Conquest, at least for me, Thanos control is everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And what can we do to beat Thanos control? Well, that one really starts taking off around turn 4 and turn 5. If we can get a Sunspot, a Nebula, Daredevil, we have a lot of means to be able to lock down the opponent and play some mind games with them. Sometimes we're going to do just a normal Storm lockdown for some incredible value and easier to win location. Sometimes we're going to do a Storm 1-4 into either a Legion, or maybe we just use it as a decoy and then we lock down that lane with something mid-range, or we use a Professor X in another lane. There's a lot of kind of shifting that can happen with this deck, and I ran a Conquest run all the way from Proving Grounds all the way through Gold on my phone, not having the deck tracker, not having just that full attention, and we went through it so incredibly quickly to grab an Infinity ticket, and so that is what we're going to be using today. We're going to be jumping straight in. Overall, you want to get your early game value as early as possible and just impact the board. Mirage is going to be great at doing that by giving you some of their low-cost resources that you can then leverage to get a little bit more benefit out of them before you go into lockdown mode in turns 4 and 5. And so we're going to jump straight in. Thank you guys as always for being here. Your response to the 35,000 subscriber milestone, you bumped us up significantly. I wouldn't be surprised if we're at 36 by the end of today or tomorrow. You guys are absolutely insane. Thank you so much for the support. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, jumping straight into round number 2. Xandar off the jump is good, but we have to worry about them using Killmonger. We don't have armor in this particular build because it's a little bit heavy-handed. You don't always need to or want to leverage or utilize the armor. You could probably cut one of your other 2-cost cards, but I like Mirage. Sometimes she's going to give us that buffed up Deadpool that is just going to be so satisfying to have. Let's do Jeff. I imagine this has to be a Deadpool deck, right? Or maybe it's just like a Black Panther and Arnim Zola. Maybe they don't have the Killmonger. It might not. With the Yondu, I think they definitely have Null. And then from there, it might get a little bit iffy. Let's do Mirage and Nebula. Ooh, wait, no, let's hold the Mirage. I'm going to wait until they use their Mr. Negative here. Or we have initiative. Do we try and call them out? If I was them, I'm not going to stack Mr. Negative here. I mean, honestly, maybe you do. All right, we're going to try and call him out. Oh, no, we had it right the first time. Oh, no. Okay, well, that is unfortunate. We went against our gut, unfortunately. Legion is kind of cool here. All right, they've had one turn to draw inverted resources. Is that enough for us to do? Yeah, let's do Daredevil. Daredevil, and I'm going to go ahead and do Mirage as well. Since we're weary of a Killmonger, I don't necessarily want to focus on getting power on Sunspot, the Nebula out early. The Venom is big. Okay. The Leech going into turn 5 is brutal. Or going into turn 6 is brutal. A negative Leech is also very wild here. All right, so they have the Bestest of Boys Cosmo. We're not risking anything additional here, so we might as well. We are risking something additional here. We're going to back out here. They have the Mr. Negative. They have the Leech coming down. They could have a Null. They could have, I don't know, some big stuff. We're going to back out of this one. We'll give them the 1. I would rather that than give them 2 to 4 if we just got really greedy and stayed for too long. We now have our Storm Daredevil combo, so beautiful, beautiful value. If we don't draw into Legion, using the Iron Lad right after the Storm can either give you Sunspot, Nebula, sometimes a Lockdown component, sometimes a Jeff, and then sometimes a Legion as well, which is really, really satisfying when it happens. So the Bast comes down. We do have our Legion, so Storm 1-4 seems kind of decent, right? Let's do Daredevil. I wish we had a turn 3 play here, but we don't so far. The Cosmos, so we're not going to storm into this lane. Savage Land is a little unfortunate. We do Mirage. Mirage, Storm, something cheap. Legion. Oh man, this is Savage Land is tough. Savage Land is definitely tough here. But the benefit that I think we have is that I don't think they're going to have much value to play out on the board. And so I think we're going to be able to sneak away the Legion play. The Venom is decent. That clears up space in that Savage Land location. They're still not fighting for Asgard, though. Ow, whoa, what in the world? Their cheapest card is a Leech? So Arnim Zola. Oh my god, that is a hefty hand. So Iron Man, Arnim Zola, wild. Just absolutely wild. Let's do Storm in the right lane. They could have top-decked Mr. No. They top-decked Zabu. Oh my, I still can't believe. I can't get over the fact that Leech is their highest power card. Or I guess that Leech is their lowest cost card. Goodness. Okay, and so the Daredevil comes down again with the Storm, and they go ahead and retreat right off the bat. We know that they have several stacked cards. So a Null Arnim Zola seems very likely. Maybe a Black Panther as well. I don't know. Interesting negative deck from Ghost. We get the Mirage, which is beautiful. I'm starting to think maybe they don't have Killmonger. They might. They also might not. Let's snap into it. If they get Mr. Negative, there's a... They have Mr. Negative in hand. So we're going to save Mirage. We're going to save Mirage at least until they've had one turn to draw for Mr. Negative. Maybe we pull an inverted Null. Maybe we pull an inverted Arnim Zola. An inverted Iron Man. Some really big potential resources. So Oscorp Tower comes down. We're going to do a Jeff here. And then we'll see what we should do on turn number 3. Daredevil would be fantastic. Whoa, Wolverine. No. What? What kind of shenanigans are you running there, Ghost? What kind of shenanigans are you running? If we had a way to change this location, this would be beautiful. Just like shift out the Jeff and then do a Scarlet Witch or whatever, and then the rocks would end up being stuck there. The Wolverine takes me a little bit off guard. All right, I'm gonna skip here. Legion into Collapse Mine is pretty cool. Or just Legion in general. Wow, they do Bast and then Zabu, so they're not wanting to pass up on getting the Zabu down early. Wild. Okay. Beautiful. I mean, we just win the Collapse Mine now. That's it. That's all there is. That's all there is to it. Then we just look to fight for one of the other locations. Skipping the Collapse Mine at all, or not skipping the Collapse Mine, is always so potentially detrimental. So we don't need the Storm location, do we? We can always just like slap a Legion down, or maybe we do Iron Lad instead. I think we do Iron Lad. Iron Lad could hit either Spider-Man, Professor X, Daredevil, or Sunspot. So 3 out of 4 really good pulls. Legion's going to be more power in general. What do we get with the Iron Lad? The Daredevil is not what we were looking for, unfortunately. And so we know that they haven't done really anything. Like, what big enablers could they have? Our Shang-Chi's not viable. Killmonger? Killmonger could take this out, but we'd still have a tied amount of power here. No way they have Death either, right? I almost feel like we'd Legion into the left lane. We leave Jeff alone. Just in case they Killmonger, we want to have more than the 2 power here. I don't know. We're going to send it. We're going to send it and see. Legion in the left. Iron Man mid gives them good reach. The Yondu in the left lane is not going to do it. Really, really confused as to the stay here. But we'll take it. All right. Next up we have Piff. They snap on turn 1. So playing it super aggressive already. So we're going to stick it out. We'll see. We have the Legion, so maybe we can hit Legion into Vormir and make them make it hard for them to play into any of the other locations. Maybe we get a cheeky Iron Lad lock. We'll see. Goose. So a Silver Surfer deck? We snap on turn 1 with Silver Surfer? Seems super bold. Nova Roma allows us to draw into a card. Mirage is a good one. Since we don't have Daredevil, I think we're going to go Storm here. I think we go Storm into Nidavellir. If they Storm, they'll do either Vormir or Nova Roma. And so then we'll be able to lock them out of the game on the last turn. And so I think we'll get a lot of more benefit than they will from the Storm lock here. The Brood the Brood into Vormir, I guess, is big. So let's go Mirage Sunspot. It's either that or we go Professor X. But I kind of like the idea of getting a Spider-Man into maybe a Cosmo on the last turn. I don't know. We'll see. Well, the Juggernaut is rude. Rude Juggernaut. But okay, so we copy their Silver Surfer. Not a big win, but it's not a bad one either. And so we have the Silver Surfer that will buff this lane. We can at least keep pace with them here. So kind of cool. If we do a Spider-Man lock, that's going to really restrict them in where and how they can play. The Silver Surfer comes down, but they can only play into Vormir. It's still going to be very, very close, though, without being able to get anything additional into the flooded lane. So it'll come down to a point differential, right? What if we did something like this? I don't know if it's enough. It does come down to a point differential, but we're going to see. The Killmonger takes out the Sunspot, so that is big. And then the Silver Surfer buffs all three. That's a positive of 15 in that lane. We do not have a positive of 15 in ours. We have a positive of 8. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. They snap on turn 1 again, so they're just playing it aggressively, which can get you quick wins, but it can get you quick losses as well. So let's go with our Nebula into the Unknown. I'm guessing they probably snap because they have like the Silver Surfer, the Sarah, maybe even Killmonger, knowing that that's going to be a pretty valuable resource for them. Let's do Mirage, get a little bit of information about what their lowest cost card is. So Mirage comes down. What do we get? Storm is beautiful. If we can draw our own Storm now, then we will absolutely be beaming. What if we do Storm? Hope to top deck the next Storm next turn? No. We have to Storm into Los Diablos base. Do they Storm as well? They might. They might Storm. Yeah, they Storm, but our Storm is more... Our Storm is bigger than their Storm, mind you. If we get a Cosmo? No. We do get Legion, though. We're not going to be able to stop them from doing a Killmonger, which is very unfortunate. Maybe we can. We might be able to. We might be able to stop the majority of their stuff. I'm thinking maybe Juggernaut in the flooded location, so we're just playing away from that. No, they go Brood this time around. And so they invest heavily into that flooded lane when we're not competing for it or not quite competing for it. We get Professor X, so we're going to be able to keep our cards in the Strange Academy safe and sound. We don't have our Cosmo, but as long as we have initiative going to this last turn, it won't matter. Because by having initiative going to the last turn, we can do the Iron Lad. If that's what we draw, that's going to guarantee to pull into Cosmo. If we draw Cosmo, perfect. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to lock down Asgard. We're going to lock down Asgard. That's going to make Strange Academy push our cards into the flooded lane. And so our Nebula, our Sunspot are going to be phenomenally big over there. And then all we have to do is drop our Cosmo plus something into the flooded lane. They won't be able to do a Silver Surfer. They won't be able to do a Killmonger. And so our Nebula Sunspot is going to be perfectly fine at making sure we win this left lane. And so I think we may steal a full 6 from them here. Okay, so Cosmo and Wanda. The Jeff doesn't matter. The Jeff is just for flair. I think we do it into the Strange Academy just for giggles. There's no way that they can do anything here. Yeah, let's lock it in. The Cosmo should be a beautiful way to get us back on the right side of this. We may have lost the first one, but we are going to win this one, knowing that they have the Killmonger, knowing that they're looking to counter our cards, looking to buff their cards, and none of it is going to be impactful. We were able to hold down the 6 cubes, and that puts us up just a touch. Beautiful. All right, next up we have Piff, the Magic Dragon. Wait, we've been playing Piff. What are we talking about? Let's do Nebula. We have Professor X, we have Cosmo. And so they may not go with holding Killmonger until the last turn of the game now that they know we have the Cosmo to block them. But we'll see. We'll see if they do or not. Do we go all in and just go Nebula Sunspot? Kind of. I kind of like that. A Legion here can lock them out of the game on turn 5 into turn 6. So it's similar to doing the Storm combo. I don't like having both of them out there, though. Oh well. It is going to be what it is. A Goose. Okay, so we won't be able to do the Legion lock into the vault. Hala can get kind of scary here. Can we go ahead and do Mirage? Or do they drop their Killmonger now? I don't know. We're going to do Mirage. That feels right. Because I don't know. They could drop Cosmo, I think, or they could drop Killmonger. I think if they're going to do that, they drop it into Hala. Just making sure that they dodge the Cosmo. Is that the Killmonger in Hala? No, it's the Brood in Hala. Interesting. Okay. So their lowest cost card was Storm. Or a 3 cost card. We're going to do Storm. Shadow King is big. But not big enough, my friend. They won't be able to play in Hala. This is the last turn that they can play into the vault. Maybe the last turn they can play entirely? What are the chances that they play into Xandar this turn? Pretty good, right? If they don't Killmonger, we're gonna steal this win away. The Sarah is so big, but such the wrong decision. We have the Legion coming down. They are locked in now. They can't play anything. Our Nebula and Sunspot are going to be safe from the Killmonger. Wow. And we tie here, so it comes down to a point differential. Unless they have a hidden Jeff that I don't know about, which I'm going to risk it for. We haven't seen it. They only have 2 cards that we haven't seen. And they do stick that one out and take the loss. All right, next up we have Apple Vision Pro user, and we get a turn 1 snap again. These games are so aggressive, and I'm both here and not here for it at the same time. I want to snap back. Like the impulsive person in me wants to just snap right back and get this done and dusted, but I want to play it a little bit more meticulously. We don't know what kind of deck they're running. We are a little bit vulnerable to Killmonger. There are ways around that. But we're a little bit vulnerable. So the 0, we're actually going to be fine. We're going to be just fine, you guys. Just fine. So I don't know if you guys see what I see. They're running 0. So I imagine they're running a Shuri, like a Sauron Shuri Red Skull deck. We have the debris. We can then do Jeff into Space Throne later to get some power over there. And so we're going to make them think that we're just making that lane a wash for the time being. And so let's go ahead and do the debris, and we'll go from there. They have the Maximus. 0 into Maximus is one that I haven't seen for a while. But I still think it's part of that overall same package. We have our Shang-Chi now, so we could use that on the last turn. Let's go. Legion is kind of scary here. So we may just do like something like a Storm. Storm and Asgard. That way they don't draw additional cards. Storm and Asgard. Then we do a Spider-Man lock. We can have the Shang-Chi to swing Camp Lehi. And then we play our Jeff on the same turn in Space Throne, trying to encourage them into an 8-cube game. Whoa, Sentry. Was not what I was expecting there, my friend. That is a lot of stuff. This is now scary. We don't have initiative, so Spider-Man could win it for us, but at the same time, maybe it doesn't. Maybe we go Shang-Chi here instead, This is 10. So this is 3, 6, 7, 8. Ah, that's not it. That's not our winning play. Our only potential play would be if they don't have Viper. And Viper turns into a 50-50 in Camp Lay High. And I think we are here for it. Moderately here for it. Oh, gosh. If we had initiative, we could do a Professor X, and then we would know that that lane is safe. But we don't, and we can't. So we're going to go with Spider-Man in the right lane. And we'll see. They do 2 cards. The Viper 50-50. Yes! Beautiful. Holy moly, that is a beautiful 50-50 flip that we probably should not have. I mean, it's a coin toss at that point. It's a coin toss, but we are glad to take it. Now, hoping that we can encourage them to stay by the Space Throne, and them not knowing that we have the Jeff and that we can play an additional card over there. Because they have a big enough lead here that right now we're winning this one by 14. I don't know. Let's do the Jeff and soak, and then we do get the 8 cubes off the jump. Beautiful bait. We will take the 8. That is a great 8. A great 8. So that brings them down to 2 very, very early on. Whoa, what happened to what happened to the light? It looks super dark. There it goes. I may need to adjust some settings on the camera itself because it's kind of flickering. But let's go Nebula on the right, and then we'll see. They do snap, but it's going to take about 5 of those back to back to back, which is possible. But I think we're willing to take that risk, at least for now. Mirage is beautiful. We can get their demon. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate for them. Good for us. Tell me all of your demons, my friend. We have the Mirage. What do we get in return? The 8-power demon behemoth. Beautiful. Such a beautiful play when it works out. Oh my gosh. We will absolutely take it. We want to save enough space or enough cards for the Forge where we can potentially cap it out. If they're going to do something like a Sentry and then they want to do, like, I don't know. I guess they've already done Viper. I don't know. We'll see. Let's do Sunspot and Jeff. And then our Nebula is just up here soaking right now. I think Cosmo in the right lane is going to be a big positive resource for us. We have Storm. The 1 out of 3 shot for Iron Lad to hit Storm here is kind of enticing. It either hits Storm, Spider-Man, which is also fantastic. Or we can play it safe. We go Cosmo. Next turn, we do, I don't know, like a Professor X into Necrotia. Let's do a Cosmo into the Forge. We don't know exactly what they're doing. We have a Shang-Chi for a potential big play in Necrotia. They have Cosmo now in Machine World. So how can we bring this one the rest of the way home? Like, does this do it? Yeah, let's do Iron Lad. That saves us space for a potential Shang-Chi over there if needed. And I don't know if we'll need it, but it leaves the possibility open. So Iron Lad in the left, what do we hit? Ooh, they hit a Black Bolt, which gets rid of our demon that we got from them. So the Iron Lad coming in, it hits Storm, which is not what we wanted to see. Definitely not what we wanted to see come down. Even the Legion plus the demon in mid would have been big. I think we do a Hail Mary. I think we do Legion plus Jeff and hope that they don't play for Machine World. Hope that they play for the left lane for some reason. No, of course not. They never do. Okay, the 0 in the left lane's big. 0's out the Sentry. That is huge. We'll do it for you. I'd rather do this where we can and just double up as many times as possible rather than trying to let it play out, let them get the idea of if they have a good play or not. And the Hood in the left lane last turn was, I think, what was like one of the biggest driving factors of it being difficult for us to find a way to win. We do have Sunspot again. We have Mirage, which is marvelous, magnificent, I don't know. Some kind of word for, some kind of M word. TVA. Ooh. They have a demon. We have a demon. Let's go. Let's do Jeff. Old Jeffrey. Old Jeffrey Jefferson here. And then demon. Then we'll see. Okay, so they have a demon of their own. Ooh, we have Storm now. So we could Storm We could storm the TVA lane, right? Storm plus something like Sunspot. No. Storm plus Sunspot. Next turn is Legion in TVA. I think it's just sneaky enough. It gives us the scalability in Kiln, because I think they do a big play over there this turn. Actually, I think they probably assume the game's going to end, so it doesn't really matter where and how they play. Okay, Cosmo and Wakanda. Cosmo into TVA could have absolutely derailed us. That's fine. We are perfectly fine. The Sunspot in the left. The flooded location in the right. Let's throw down a Legion. The Cosmo's already on board, so they can't do Sentry here. They could do it here, but I think we're okay. Let's go ahead and lock in the Legion play. They could have Black Bolt as well, but we would win the differential off of the Black Bolt. We have Jeff that can move across the board as needed. Gamora is big, but it's not going to be big enough, because we do have the Jeff that can move over into the Gamora lane. We will soak with our Sunspot, finding a way to win in the left lane, Jeff giving us a way to win in the right. Now, that's assuming they don't have a Jeff of their own. I don't think they do. Who knows? Maybe they do, but who knows? We do get the win against Apple Vision Pro user. A lot of that came from that very early burst game, and we will absolutely take it. Well played, Apple. Let's jump into the next one. All right, next up we have Yotato. Small Yotato. All right, let's do Sunspot in the right. If we end up doing Legion, then the negative zone won't necessarily matter. We could also storm that lane. Wow, negative zone into Necrotia is, is brutal. Let's go ahead and play our Jeff just because we can. Woof. If we get the one that's -1 now, that's awful. Okay, so Morbius. It's a discard deck. Great Web. Oh no. Okay, so Great Web is kind of wild. I always like a Legion into Great Web because it just moves cards and it's so sporadic. But I think we play this one a little bit differently. I think we're going to... I want to snap here. We are. We're going to play it a little bit more aggressively. We're going to snap. We're going to soak with our Sunspot. On 4, we'll do Storm into a Legion, and that will take away the Great Web. Hopefully most of their stuff stacks into the Great Web before then, and we can benefit. So they accept the snap, but they don't play on turn 3, which is kind of interesting. Let's do Storm into... Let's do Storm into the negative zone. They play for the Great Web. And so do they do their Dracula over there? Invisible Woman. So this is a hella resummon deck. I was thinking this was Apocalypse discard, but I'm thinking now that it is a hella resummon. So let's go Legion, and I think we just win off of that play. They could do MODOK into Great Web, but that's interesting. Very interesting. All right. I think we're fine. They snapped, so it's going to be for 4 instead of for 2. Magic. Okay, so they extend the game. These two are locked in now, which... Bravo. They got the read correct. They knew we were doing the Legion, but we can stop their resummon by simply doing Professor X. We have Jeff to move into this flooded lane, and then we can win these two. That's our read, and we're sticking to it, my friend. I think the Magic was a good play to counteract the Limbo. Had they had initiative, we would have spread the Limbo across the board. Luckily, we were able to turn first, and so we are able to get a little bit more benefit with 2 lockdown locations. The Magic in this discard list does tell me this is very likely a Hella Resummon. So what do they go with in the left? They go MODOK, buffing up their Morbius quite a bit, but we're winning in Limbo. We just move Jeff into the flooded lane, and we're good to go. Wild Yotato. Bold bringing the Hella Resummon. I never have enough luck where I feel confident in using my tickets, even in gold. All right, so the first location is Central Park. That takes away some of their upside. We can do a Mirage to copy one of their lowest cost cards. I don't know that it gives us much value, though. We have the Spider-Man. We do have Cosmo to try to counteract their Hella Resummon. So we know they have Magic, so they can extend the game. Oh, boy. And then they send us Invisible Woman as well. I guess it's not the worst thing. We can fight for priority. We might even act like we're going to lock in the sewer system with a Legion by doing a Storm into a turn 5 play. And then maybe that's not what we go with at all. Maybe we go with like a Spider-Man behind Invisible Woman. Maybe we go Professor X somewhere. Or a Cosmo if they start stacking into the Machine World location is also very, 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 very beautiful. Such a beautiful thing. There's a way to win here. I just don't know exactly what it is. We could do Magic for them, but I do think we do Storm as for some mind games. I think we do Storm, and then we'll see if they play into the Invisible Woman lane. I think they do Magic in Sewer System, which is why we did Storm into the left, because I think they're playing very heads up. They seem like they're a very solid player. For me, if I was going to be doing Storm normally, I would have naturally put it into that right lane alongside the Sunspot, the Jeff, those cards that can grow over time. But anticipating that, we kind of decided to do the opposite of what they would have naturally expected. I'm going to go ahead and Magic the middle location, see if they play. If they dropped something in Machine World, it's most likely a MODOK. And so we can block that with a Cosmo. And maybe we can entice them into staying for the full game, giving us 4 cubes instead of 2. Let's go with the Spider-Man lock. They're going to assume that they have the free Hela Resummon. They haven't seen our Cosmo at this point, so they're not going to be able to play on the last turn. We will have initiative. It doesn't really matter because the Invisible Woman kind of restricts when that is going to show. And so I don't. Do we even do anything additional? We don't need to win the Limbo location. We have here. We have here. If they have a Killmonger for some reason, we still win here. We still win here with 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's just do the Cosmo. Actually, the Killmonger won't trigger. What are we doing? Gonna lock in for the 6 with the Cosmo. I think that blocks the MODOK and then Hela Resummon. Iron Lad and then Hela Resummon. And neither one is going to trigger. We are able to hold it down versus Yotato with the Cosmo. The Cosmo tech can come in absolutely critical in certain matches and in certain games. So we will take the 2-round victory, bringing us to the last battle in our run. Okay, so they lost High Evo. We lost our Jeff, which is it's a lot unfortunate actually. They didn't lose anything except for a dead card that they typically don't want to play. The Misty Knight. This is a High Evo, so it could be the She-Not, where they want to double down and do some really big impactful plays on the last couple of turns of the game. They do have the Wasp, so it could just be a normal Affliction style, and they're looking to do a cheaper Abomination. Monster Island is pretty decent. We can always use Legion to get monsters in left and mid as well, which is kind of a cool way to trigger this. Let's go Mirage, see what they got. Maybe we'll draw into Storm this next turn. Ooh, Hazmat. Wow, wild. They have to have Abomination. Do we get the free? Okay, I was wondering if we got the free Abomination or not. We get Rogue, and we do get Storm. Let's do the Storm. We have Legion, so we have Daredevil to get the Legion read of how we maybe want to play this. We can always do Legion into Sokovia and make them potentially discard their big plays as well. They have Thing in Monster Island, which is a very big thing that they're doing over there. I don't like the thing that they're doing. They're definitely doing it. Our Monster Island lane is now abysmal. Let's see what they do. We have a Professor X, so if they play for Flooded Location, I don't know. We have a couple of ways to maybe navigate this one where we can find a way to win. Their monster is below Shang-Chi range, unfortunately. Sunspot and Soak here. Brings it up to 6. That's not going to be enough. Or brings it up to 5, and then they float one more time. So Legion into the Flooded Lane is not what we want to see. Legion into Monster Island could potentially give us some ways to win. I don't know if they're good ways or not, though. They're just ways. Let's go a Hail Mary Legion. There's their Rogue, which we copied from them. What's their last card? Their last card was Luke Cage. And so our Professor X comes down. They do the Sunspot. But that's going to be a lot of power to overcome in Sokovia as is. Okay. It's funny to think about, but not necessarily to do. With their Sunspot on the board, without us having ours. That's unfortunate. But we have some good information about what kind of deck the opponent's running. Gilatar is probably running Abomination. The Evolved Hulk would naturally fit into this. Maybe we can steal a free Abomination whenever they use the Hazmat. Now we have to look out for Luke Cage with their Hazmat play. But I think we're relatively okay. We hope. Could be Copium, but we're hoping. Bifrost will push after turn 4. Let's go ahead and do Jeff. I want to save the Mirage for a little bit later. Like we could, actually, maybe we should have done Mirage to maybe pull a Sunspot or a Misty Knight or... Nah, if they had it, they would have played it, right? We don't have Legion. We don't have any of our bigger cards. Either Cosmo into Asteroid M. Mirage. Let's do Cosmo. Cosmo into Asteroid M just for giggles. They could do Thing here, and maybe that saves us. Ooh, Shocker. But it's not going to reduce the cost of their cards. We now have our Sunspot. So let's do... We're going to do Sunspot and Storm. That will pull over to the right lane. We have the Mirage for turn 5. We're going to snap into it. We have some decent cards left to pull. Either Daredevil, which would be the lowest. Other than that, we would draw into a 4 or 5 cost resource. So maybe a Professor X to lock down a lane. Maybe Legion to lock out the rest of the game. We have a couple ways to navigate this one. Storm will pull into Asherdam, but that's perfectly fine. We have Jeff that can move out as needed. The Cyclops is unfortunately very, very brutal. We do get Legion here. Gilatar's playing very heads up. I think they play into Strange Academy. No, they play into the flooded lane. Beautiful. Abomination. And then what else do you have there? Luke Cage. Beautiful, kind of, I guess. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. We can soak. Whew. I got really worried for a second. And the reason we moved our Jeff was I didn't want it to continue getting beaten down by the Cyclops. So we're giving up that lane. We have the skip and soak here. Do they have a Jeff? Oh. They do not have a Jeff. We take the 2. They can bleed. We're jumping into round number 3. Los Diablo space is pretty decent. We get Sunspot early, which is beautiful value for us. The Storm, maybe on 3 into an Iron Lad, or on 4 into a Legion, depending on what else we grab. Let's do Sunspot on the left. If we do Storm on 3, Legion or Iron Lad into one of the other lanes is going to be really, really big for us, because the Storm lane should be safe and sound with our Storm over there, but we'll see. They have a Misty Knight, so they will be able to buff up their cards. Okay, Hala and Vormir. I'm not liking the look of the cards we can pull into with Iron Lad, in all honesty. Nebula would be probably the best one we could hope for, and that's not great. I'm going to skip and soak. We're going to play this patiently. We're going to do the mind games on turn 5 of maybe we do a Professor X, maybe we do Legion, and see if we can get them to maybe misplay a bit. So Los Diablo space destroys the ruins over here. Let's do our Storm in the left now. Into maybe a Professor X into Vormir. It just really depends. We can always do the Legion, but I don't think that's going to be our path or our play. Now they could maybe play away from this lane, anticipating us doing something big like this. We're going to do Professor X into Vormir and see. They haven't played anything there, so if they do, it's going to get destroyed. And they're going to play with the anticipation that we're either going to Legion lock the game. And so maybe they play into the ruins. That's beautiful. How much do they do? Oh, the Hazmat, however, is not beautiful. They have the Lucas Cage. Ooh, yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to retreat out of that one. They got the better of us. Unfortunately, they have a lot of tempo, so the lockdown is a lot harder with this deck. High Evo is one of those that it's really good into most matches, even into the Thanos control. I think High Evo is going to have a place and have a... It's going to be a tough matchup for him, I think. We have Sunspot, we have Mirage. So fantastic start for us trying to fill up the raft location. Savage Land is also very constricting. Beautiful if they end up using a hazmat. Maybe we can pull their loot cage here. Be a super like off the wall pull. That's what we're hoping for. Okay, hazmat, wasp. Can we hit loot cage? No, it's Misty Knight. Dang, I was hopeful. They will be able to do a big abomination. Absolute abomination. So let's do Daredevil and Misty Knight. We will be able to continue to influence the raft location after the fact with our Sunspot and Soak. Let's see. They do just the Misty Knight, though. Ooh, we get Storm. Maybe Storm here. Spider-Man here. I don't know. I like it. We have the Daredevil in place. I'm a little bit more comfortable snapping into this play going into turn 5 so that we have that exact read of what we need to do. Even though we don't have Legion, we have those mind games for the opponent. The Thing comes down, but that's also a finite amount of power. So maybe we can, I don't know. Oof. Skip and Soak and get value there. I don't know. I guess we're only down 5, 6. We're only down 6 right now. That's not terrible. So Shocker and Sunspot. Let's do this number. That gives us the advantage on them here. And then we skip and Soak and hope that our Misty Knight absorbs what we need to. We could also go Iron Lad so that we get the absorption this turn and hope for like a Professor X. But we also have the Legion, we also have the Nebula, and some bad pulls or bad outcomes that way as well. Misty Knight cannot hit anything in the raft now that I think about it. They're Misty Knight. Oof. Rough. Rough one, you guys. Okay, so it hit the Raptor this time around. It all comes down to if their Misty Knight hits where it hits and ours doesn't. We're gonna gamble for it. No! It's a travesty. All right, that was. We have to take those odds. It had to be where ours did not hit and theirs did, specifically in that order for them to take the 4. Gilitar, don't you do this to us? Don't you do it? That's brutal. That's brutal. It was close. There were definitely winnable positionings, and they snap on us because they now have a very large amount of health advantage. We're gonna stick it out, unfortunately. This could be where our life ends, you guys. This could be where our infinite avatar run ends. I was feeling pretty confident going into this, thinking we were gonna have a very easy time. The high Evo lockdown just is bombarding us. So the Misty Knight, Cyclops over here becomes really difficult because then the scaling matches each other. I can't do anything on this turn. That is rough. Necrocia's not great if they end up getting their loot cage. They also have a cheap abomination right now. Very cheap abomination. There's the cheap abomination. All right. All right, so Iron Lad it is. Iron Lad in the left lane it is. Let's see what we hit. Cyclops and Necrocia is really brutal. Getting just that residual value. We hit, okay, Sunspot's not terrible for us. I almost want to set up for I almost want to set up like a cheeky Professor X play here. Do they do anything other than compete for Monster Metropolis? They could do a Sunspot pretty easily, right? We're going to do Professor X into the left lane. I thought about doing it in Central Park. It is a good thing that we did not, though. So they have their Hazmat. They have their Sunspot, so they can continue to absorb and float. Woof. Do they have Loot Cage to bounce back this right lane? How big do they go here? Do they go Evil Hulk? Or do they do just kind of like a float? I don't know. We're going to try the Shang-Chi. Evolved Hulk? No, that's the thing. Ah, that's unfortunate. All right, so our dreams are dashed in the final round. Gilitar, congratulations on your Infinity Avatar border. It's one of those things. The deck does incredibly well. We weren't able to hit it just right against the high Evo, like the full Affliction high Evo. We're going to go ahead and end the video here. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Stick around. We'll do some more Infinity Conquest runs, wins or losses, as long as they're deep runs. We'll consider leaving them. But I think this is a good showcase of Mirage's abilities, even though the end result was not what we wanted. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, give it a like and a comment down below. As always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.